Hello YouTube, and welcome to my recap on the Vancouver Regional Championships. This past 1 weekend ago, 2 weekends ago, I forgot, but the Vancouver Regionals happened. It was probably one of the more interesting regionals when it comes to the meta game, and so right now that's what I'm going to go over. So the first thing to point out is, of course, the elephant in the room. Lunala won, which is quite frankly surprising. Like Lunala is a restricted Pokemon that I always considered like it's good, but it's good for getting results at events, not winning. Like maybe it could get you a cut. That's probably the best it can do for you. But to winning is really good for Lunala. As the winner said, it's a really good call into like the meta after all the Koraidons rising, all the Calyx Shadows. That was actually a really good call. I like that. I know this guy from my locals. I already know he's a pretty good player, like a top good caliber player. I'm super happy he won, and this team is definitely. It feels like the Tang stuff almost. It's kind of similar to the Tang stuff. It has the Roaring Moon, Urshifu, Landorus, Ogerpon, like Tailwind core. It has like a Trick Room mode with Lunala and the Redirector, or the Trick Room restricted and the Redirector. However, Lunala is faster than Calyrex Shadow, or not Calyrex Shadow, Calyrex Ice. So I'd say it works better in Tailwind, and it still works good in Trick Room. Like the one Pokemon that underspeed, like the only restricted to underspeed in Trick Room are like Calyrex Ice and Duskmane, and Dawnwings. But those two are less relevant. Like you might run into one, but that's about it. This team's really nice. I looked at Luring Voice and DD and punishes like a lot of like Calyrex. Like if they get greedy taking KOs or like other setup mons. That's nice. The rest of the stuff here is pretty standard. It's standard for standard in general. Lunala itself isn't too standard. However, I already knew like this set is really good. It just hits so much in the format for big damage. That's the set that makes it Lunala feel the most like restricted. Like some people run like wide guard stuff. Wide guard is nice, yes, but I feel like that isn't taking like it isn't using Lunala to its full potential as a restricted, and I feel like that is exactly what Bezad did here, and it's a really cool team. I love it. Okay, so I'll handle Terrorizas. This is like standard-ish hard trick room. The only real interesting things to point out here uh, are like the Smeargle or Gallade. None of them have wide guard. I get Smeargle, it wants to have all these moves, but Gallade, like, I guess upper hand is cool, but like into like leads that have strong spread moves like Chi, Fluttermane, and a bunch of other stuff. You can't really do stuff there. Like you can't like you take big damage. You take big damage, which I'm not sure if you're fine with taking. Oh yeah, Imprisoned Calyrex is definitely cool though. It like prevents people from reversing your Trick Room, which is a really nice tool against other Pokemon with Trick Room like Calyrex Ice and Lunala, as we saw in the stream match. Okay, so I feel like these Tropicos and Rhydon teams, they are somewhat standard. I'm pretty sure the Tropicos won a victory road before, and this team is like somewhat. It's like it's kind of like a Terra Electric build, but with Terra Fairy. It's interesting. However, the interesting thing about these teams is not specifically like anything on them, to my knowledge. Like nothing here is too interesting. However, it's the fact that these teams with these restrictions are the ones that did the best. Like Tropicos, most people expected the Heatran stuff to do best. Like Heatran top 16, Heatran top 16. Um, the next Tropicos down is a similar thing to that, with just POW over Heatran. And then as we continue to go down the list, okay, yeah, the next placing Tropicos is top 64. There's actually not a lot of Tropicos here. Tropicos. Yeah, there's not a lot of Tropicos in day two. Like there's four in day two, just four, which is honestly kind of sad. But I guess that's how you know Tropicos is mid. Like I've said before, Tropicos is mid Pagos, just because it takes too much setup to get working. That's kind of why this team did so well, is that it doesn't need the setup. It just goes through damage right away. And also another thing to point out is that Arubega Maridon is like, well, yes, it definitely did well, but its highest placement is right outside top cut. The Arubega stuff, yeah, like Arubega, it's kind of just like not gone. However, it's way less prominent in day twos. I feel like now this is the point in the metagame where people are starting like to crack down on how to beat what you call Arubega. He's like, there's one Arubega, um, two in day two. The rest are like different ish teams. They're definitely different. Like Blake Silvers is different, Eric's is different, etc., etc. I mean, Aaron Brock's is like close to Arubega, but not really. It's more similar to the stuff that Dill Yemens was using. Actually, yeah, it's insanely similar. It's five of the same mons. No Roar and Photograph is interesting, though I really liked Roar. So yeah, there's like a surprising like lack of Maridon, which is crazy because Maridon's like one of the best restricted. It's like period. Oh, I guess it's still highly used, uh, but it's not high placing. And good look at the day two Calic Shadow. Okay, and Calic Shadow being the fourth best most used restricted in the top 128 is crazy. But if we see how they did in day two, Calic Shadow. On the whole, they did pretty well. There's quite a few in top cut. Four, like 25% usage in top 16, not bad. And then the rest are just kind of like they. I feel like the Cowards here have a lot of like difference between them as compared to others. Like you have the Dowie C stuff, you have the Justin Knox stuff, and then like you have these like more balanced types of like the Clefairy setup ones, the Tornadus offense, and then like just balance this on a way different Tornadus offense. Tornadus character is surprisingly common here, or not surprisingly, but it's it's more used than I think, and they're all different. Like this one's like Rock Pond, like the balances stuff with the more offensive pieces. This one has Chiyu, and then this one's Tinkaton. Very different teams. And then I'm just gonna go down here and see what else is interesting to cover about the metagame right now. Straight for there isn't a lot. I mean, we could talk about this one though. We could talk about this one though. This team right here is cool. I'm not sure what it does. I mean, I know Rowan Wash is a really good check to Cataract's Ice Rider. I did not consider it. I did not think about it as a check to Cataract's Ice Rider, but that actually looks really strong because you could hit for a strong foul play. You can wisp it. You could do pretty much anything. And with safety goggles, you're immune to spore as well. So it's like they can't really do anything to you, and then the teammates are just kind of the ones that don't like Calyx Shadow or Calyx Ice besides Urshifu. I feel like maybe Terra Dark on Okidogi might be better just for Calyx Shadow, but I don't know. I know John Leslie's lost to a Calyx S or Calyx I in Top Cut, but I didn't watch that stream match, but I assume it's because Ogopan was able to get past. He was able to find a way to get past the Rodom, and then that's what ended up winning him the set. I didn't watch too much of Vancouver for reasons I kind of forgot, but hold on. What is this? Okay, Screamtail Zamazenta. Oh my god, that's a cool Zamazenta set. No protect, no wide guard. It's Iron Defense substitute. I think it's like that because Changlu already lowers special defense, so you're very bulky. You have wide guard already. You have disable to like remove attacking moves, so you don't want to protect as much. And then like just all these are just pieces to support the Zamazenta to sweeping. And Ditto or Raging Bolt are just kind of their own things. Like Ditto can eliminate quite literally any restricted. Raging Bolt can just do things, I guess. It's just a balance mod, pretty much. Now I'm thinking about, there's not too much to talk about in this with this regional. I could go down and like talk about some meta picks, cool picks. Like there's a Venusaur, there's a Rhyperior, there's a Suin Gudra, there's a Moltres, there's a Tinkaton, there's a Walking Lake. But it's like other than that, there's not too much to talk about here. Since it's a smaller regional, uh, this one is a way shorter recording for me. So I'm gonna be talking a bit about the Victory Road Tour if I have it up. Yes, I do. My God. Okay. So Victory Road. I talked about Arbega being fallen off. I guess not here because this was an Arbega finals. I wonder if it's like an exact mirror. Okay. Psychic Valentine trick from helping hand. Not an exact mirror. The Whimsicots are different. However, they are pretty much the same sex, which is interesting. I wonder how that finals played out. But other than that, let me go talk about the Iron Boulder team. I'm pretty sure I already have it up here, right? Right. You can close these. Right here. Okay. So this is just kind of this feels like an adaptation of the Adilium theme. Like it has that same like Incineroar, Miraidon, Ferrograph, Urshifu stuff, but then they adapt to have a more offensive like instead of focusing on like the balanced Trick Room stuff, they just focus on having Miraidon into Iron Boulder as the big attackers. Like if you're able to get off a Sword Dance off with Iron Boulder, you could just kind of like not win the game on the spot, but you can output crazy damage, like OHKOing a lot of things. Pretty much most things besides like Zamazenta, uh, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Qianpao. Besides that, you're OHKOing most things. Now, other teams are good. Actually, let's just talk about this one. I'm not sure what Walking Wake does here. I think it's just a check to Koraidon. I'm pretty sure that's like exactly what this set does. But other than this, I feel like an interesting thing about it, actually a lot of these sets are interesting. The Spore Amoonguss with Miraidon is weird, but it's definitely. I think he just wanted a non-offensive redirector that has healing, maybe. So that's probably why. No Trick Room mode. Iron Hands in Amoonguss without a Trick Room mode is interesting. There's a Snarl Miraidon. I think it's for Cataract Shadow. I feel like this is prime GC team. I don't think people know what to do into this, which is probably why I did so well. Neil Patel's back. I just feel like mentioning that. Oh, and Isaac Moreira is running the Koraidon stuff too. I love this team. I used this exact team, almost this exact team in the GC. This team is a really good team. It feels like you don't really have any bad matchups. Like maybe besides the Kyle Livinghouse stuff, with like the Calyrex, Champao, Weezing, you have no bad matchups. You just deal with quite a lot of the format. Uh, just the Weezing Koraidon lead alone threatens a lot, and then Dozo in the back just cleans up everything else. This team is really good, so happy someone's using it. And then yeah, I guess it's not a lot to talk about with Victory Road as well. I mean, there's the Coal Mine Parabolic Charge, Miraidon. There is. Yeah, that's about it. Sorry if this one's shorter because, to be honest, I'm really tired. I got drafting games today. I got a bunch of stuff to do, so I can sadly talk less. However, I feel like a this has been an interesting few weeks for VGC in terms of the meta. I'm not sure what exactly could do well next. I mean, my philosophy right now is that an innovative Miraidon team could win an event next. However, as you saw, these teams aren't too innovative. So who knows? Maybe Miraidon is just having the rise again. I'm not sure. I mean, let's see. Lunala just won, but I don't think he'll pick up. I feel like Karak Shadow is probably gonna find its spot again. That's probably what's gonna happen, though I'm not 100% sure because like it's weird because like so much stuff doesn't feel good right now. Like only a few restricted feel better. Like Zamazenta's doing worse, Tropicos is doing worse, uh, and Coryon is there, Marion's doing worse. It, the metagame is in a weird state right now. However, I'm interested to see how things shake up at the next event. Oh wait, that reminds me. One last thing to go over. Fortaleza, where is that? Right here. Okay, so one final thing to go over. Crydon absolutely dominated this event with two in top four. This team is very similar to the Luca Paz stuff, but with Incineroar over Ditto. I think this is meant for the Zamazenta matchup, so Cryon could do better into that. But other than that, Fort Liz is a smaller regional, so there's less to go over here. Okay, so that will be the end of the video. See you guys next week for the Emerald Open draft recap. See ya.